Listen, success for Daniel Jones. Win the division. It's that simple. You have to win the division at the bare basement. In fact, let's just get into it, guys. Daniel Jones in the second year. If we're all paying attention, second year, you basically, if you're not like winning MVP and the Super Bowl and Nobel Peace Prizes, like you ain't doing squat. Second year, guys, Mahomes won his division. Lamar won his division. Goff won his division. I'll keep going. Second year, Carson Wentz did it. Mitch Trubisky did it. Everybody's doing it. All the cool kids are doing it. So you had your nice little warm-up year, and you had that fun day against Tampa, and everybody oohed and ahed and everything. Now it's time to really win. That's today's NFL. And by the way, let's not put our head in the sand and say the clock ain't ticking on Daniel Jones' next contract. You got about 3 years to win a Super Bowl with this dude, and then if things go right, he's going to be asking for $40 million a year. So Daniel Jones, at the basement, you got to get in the playoffs and win the division this year. That's just the league we're living in, buddy.
Yeah, and Kyle, you're right. I think there is an immediate expectation. You know, Phil Simms took many years before he became the starter, and he was a first pick. He was a 7th overall pick, and it was like, well, he's got to wait his turn. He waited like 3 or 4 years before he finally got put in the lineup as the full-time starter. Daniel Jones doesn't have that luxury. I'm going to get a little more serious and maybe take this big picture, but like, as I've said on this show, New York and New Jersey are going through it right now. To me, if the Giants are relevant and playing good football, this guy could be an absolute superstar in the market. I remember being in the market in 2001 after 9/11 and Mike Piazza coming out with the FDNY hat. And, of course, Joe Torre and Derek Jeter. Like, people look to the sports icons as heroes and look to them for something to diverge from what was going on in the real world. With what New York and New Jersey have gone through with this coronavirus the last 2 months, I think if Daniel Jones can get the Giants on the field playing respectable football and winning games, how huge would that be as far as a lift for the market and for the region, and especially for the fan base? I think Daniel Jones playing respectable Giants football, being relevant, could go even further than just being a great NFL player. He could be a huge star in the city and in that area because of what he's meant to those people who are looking for any sort of diversion from what's going on in the real day-to-day.
Okay, all right. Kyle, did you say Julie Smuckers? Julie Smuckers? Holy smokes. You didn't shoot your shot. You missed out, bro. Shout out to Raquel Welch, from Welch's fame. But here's the thing. When it comes to Daniel Jones, Daniel Jones, he led all rookies with 23 TDs, right? So to Peter's point, he has an opportunity to take control over a market that is fiending for another Eli, and you know how much they love Eli. But there are some things that he needs to tighten up. I mean, he also had, 20-plus giveaways, and he also had 11 fumbles lost. Not 11 fumbles, 11 fumbles lost. And we all know when you lose something in New York, you ain't getting it back. So he needs to understand you got to take care of the ball, especially when you have a guy like Saquon, especially when you have a host of wide receivers in tight end play where you know if you just protect the ball and the defense steps up, you have a chance to win every single game. And they're rookie mistakes. They're little mistakes, but you don't want those things to compound. You want him to figure out what it was last year. Was it the panic in the pocket? Is that why they shored up the offensive line in front of him? Was it that he didn't have all of his receivers at his disposal, so he held onto the ball a little too long? Maybe that's it. Was it the fact that maybe he needs to work on his arm strength? All of these things come into play when you make that leap from a rookie making rookie mistakes to a sophomore trying to find some consistent success.
Schrags, you know the New York Giants fan base better than any of the four of us, so I assume stats they don't care about even a little bit, even Saquon's stats, even Daniel Jones's stats. Like when I was talking to Saquon and I put something on Twitter about it, all of the comments were, are we wasting Saquon? Are we not going to pay Saquon? Like we're wasting the best years of this kid's life. So like to them, it seems like a fan base, maybe more than a lot of others, that's tired of sort of feeling embarrassed and not living up to the standard, right? It's wins.
Yeah, look, I always say it that the Giants fans, they're not interested in having the #1 wide receiver in yards per catch or fantasy points. It's wins and losses. And since they went there for a brief game against the Packers where they lost, with Ben McAdoo, it has not been good for the Giants fan base as far as relevant games in December and January. There's so much hope for Daniel Jones. He's got to deliver. And, yeah, Saquon, the clock is ticking already on his best years of his career.
There's a real don't waste Saquon sentiment out there.